Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Bodacious Rant with Burn and Rye. Hope everybody's been doing amazing. I know it's been an interesting month in reality, but we're not going to talk about reality tonight. We're going to be talking about a movie that I only heard about recently, but then it actually kind of just dropped in the theaters. It wasn't really marketed very well because it's very under the radar. So if you guys haven't seen this or heard of it, no worries. We are talking about the latest film from the talented Steven Soderbergh, and that is Presence, starring Chris Sullivan from This Is Us, Stranger Things. I can't think of anything else he's really in that maybe most people would know. Lucy Liu from Charlie's Angels, and God knows how many things over the years. And a couple other young actors that are fairly new to the industry for the most part. This is a non-spoiler review, so don't worry about that. But if you do like the video, give us a thumbs up, ring the bell for notifications, and of course subscribe. Very much thanks to all of you for that. So this is a pretty straightforward movie where a family that they move into a house in the suburbs, and after living there, they're definitely getting the feeling and have the idea that they are not alone. Hence the movie Presence. And the main star of this movie is the one who plays the daughter, which is Kalina Liang or Lang. I could be saying that wrong. It's Liang. So I think she was definitely the standout for this movie. Did a very good job just because her character is going through some stuff, not only being a teenager, but some other personal stuff that I feel like is pretty integral, so I'm not going to go too much into it without spoiling it. And it's funny because this movie is being marketed or kind of listed as a supernatural thriller, borderline horror movie, and in all honesty, I wouldn't even classify it as either. It is supernatural, but I would say it's just more of definitely more of a family drama, just because it's not necessarily scary, but the camera work I think is definitely some of the most innovative I've seen in the supernatural kind of state of movies and stuff like that. Whether it be Paranormal Activity or basically I'm trying to think of other ghost stuff. I can't really think of it at the moment, but it was just very well shot, and overall look aesthetic wise it was pretty well done. Bern, what did you think about this movie? How did you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, so when you hear that there's going to be a ghost story movie directed by Steven Soderbergh, you know that it's not going to be traditional. He's not really a traditional filmmaker. He has his own style. He has his own take on things, which are always very interesting in terms of the genres that he chooses to dip into and put his own flair on it. So I knew going into it wouldn't be just one of those things where it's oh, this is just your typical haunted house, ghost type movie, and it definitely wasn't. So hopefully people, that are seeing the marketing and either trailers or posters sort of know that going in, because I feel coming into this movie with different expectations might leave you a little bit disappointed with the way that the movie turns out. But for me, I really, really did enjoy what we got here. It's about as much of a ghost horror movie as the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze. It's very, very different a take on that sort of genre. But the things they do with the story, although it is a very simple story in terms of the family drama, where we really just sort of focus on the dynamics of this family and sort of this snapshot on their lives that we're coming into and kind of figuring things out as we go along. It's almost like a mystery sort of unfolding before. So that definitely kept me intrigued. And like you mentioned, the way that this movie is shot is done very, very interestingly. The camera work here is really cool. It makes really good use of the space that we're in. Again, it takes place mostly in this house. So, to make that visually interesting for about an hour and 25 minutes is a pretty good feat that I think they were able to accomplish here. And like you mentioned, I think all the performances across the board are pretty good. And in particular, Chris Sullivan and Kalina Liang, I thought their dynamic was very interesting, and I thought their performances were really good. Not that Lucy Liu and the kid that played Eddie Madej, who plays the boy, not that they were bad or anything, but I feel like these other two, the movie was kind of focused on them, and I think they made their moments together really, really work. And I really believe that this family is sort of going through something right now. We're just like coming into the middle of it.
Yeah, and what I like how we were talking about when we saw it. Again, without spoiling it, I think that this movie does a really good job not focusing so much on the supernatural aspect, but more of the family and like human element of it. Because even then, if you really think about it, like ghosts and or spirits or anything, unless they're demonic, most of them were human at one point. So there is that. I think Steven did a great job of really like harnessing that, like really focusing on the human element with, particularly Chris Sullivan and Kalina Lane's characters, and yeah, that was really where the heart of the movie was at. And again, yeah, no offense to Lucy Liu, this was just definitely a different role for her. To be honest, I felt like she was kind of sidelined for it, but the way the story in the movie goes on, it does make sense why. And then yeah, Eddie Madej, who plays the brother, he does a good job too. Again, not necessarily focused on him as much, but again, not a bad thing. He didn't do a bad job. Overall, it was a very well done film. Yeah, and I think you made the best point that while it all takes place in this house, for it to keep our attention for an hour and a half, was very well done, very difficult to do, and just kind of plays fun with the time structure of it all too, to a certain extent. So with all that being said, I'm gonna give this movie a 4 out of 5. I think just purely on, basically everything we talked about, the acting, the technical aspect, and the story is, while it's still simple, it was very, very, emotional and stuff like that with certain scenes. So I would definitely recommend it, especially if you watch The Wolfman like me and Bernie and you want something a little bit different to kind of supernatural filler, to kind of wash your mouth out or anything, or get something in that mood. I think this is definitely a good one. Or Nosferatu is still out, so, and it's now at home to buy. So either way, but yeah, definitely recommend this one.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned the way that the movie is structured, because that was something that did take a little time for me to get used to, with just the way that we weave in and out of scenes. It was a very interesting take, and I think it's gonna work for some people and it won't work for others. For me, it took me a little while to like sort of get acclimated to it, but after that, you kind of get the rhythm of the way this movie is going, and it works in that sense where yeah, it just feels like it gives you just enough to sort of appreciate, the story and the characters, without sort of leaving things out that you're just kind of like trying to figure things out along the way and you're confused or anything like that. So, yeah, I mean, although I would have definitely liked more, definitely, I think, this movie, again, is only like an hour and 25. I would have liked to see more of it. I guess that's a good complaint in a sense. But yeah, overall, I did really enjoy it. Like you did. Also, the kid, Wes Mulholland, who plays Ryan in the movie, really, really good turn from him. Definitely want to shout him out. Again, the performances across the board are all pretty good, but these are the little bit of the standouts, just because the script gives them a little bit more interesting things to do. But overall, like you, I definitely recommend it for people going into it with the right expectations. Again, if you're going in expecting a horror movie, it isn't really that. But if you're looking for something more along the lines of a family drama with an interesting supernatural spin to it, I think you'll enjoy your time with this one. And I certainly did. So for me, this one is also going to be a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, very. Like I said, it was just a really well done movie. I did not have any expectations going into it. Didn't really see a trailer, to be honest. I think I maybe seen clips of it, but I was like, okay, let's check this out, see what it's like. So yeah, for those of you who did happen to watch this movie or thinking about it, feel free to ask us questions in the comments without spoiling it, or let us know your thoughts. Yeah, we're going into February. The Super Bowl's coming up, and Invincible Season 3 is coming back. So more content's going to keep coming. So until next time, everybody, stay bodacious and keep on ranting for us.
Absolutely, everybody. Be good, be safe, and as always, we'll catch y'all on the next one.